Welcome to the video training series for the Edwards Lifesciences HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform. Part 1. Hardware Components. The next-generation HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform enables you to reimagine the way you see, experience, and interact with hemodynamic parameters. The platform consists of a monitoring unit with interchangeable modules that interface with various Edwards intravenous and pulmonary artery catheters. The HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform receives power from either a standard AC power cable that plugs into the rear of the unit or from its internal rechargeable battery. The battery module is removable and can be used as a backup power source for a limited time period. To remove the battery, press the button on the side of the unit, slide the battery door toward the back of the monitor, and then open the door by pulling outward. The monitor power light will flash yellow when the monitor is off, when it is connected to AC power, and the battery is charging. Before unplugging from AC power, it is recommended to wait for the light to turn solid yellow, indicating the battery is fully charged. To turn the unit on, press the power button. Once the unit has been powered on, the power indicator light will turn green and the startup procedure will begin. The modular design of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform allows you to tailor its use to your specific needs by installing instrument modules. To remove a module, press the release button and then slide the module to the right. Insert the desired instrument module into the empty expansion slot and slide to the left until it clicks into place. In order to use the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor with a Swan-Ganz pulmonary artery catheter, the Swan-Ganz module must be installed. The Swan-Ganz catheter is connected to the Swan-Ganz module using a patient continuous cardiac output cable. SVO2 measurements can be conducted using the HemoSphere oximetry cable connected to an oximetry catheter. Part 2. User Interface. Upon powering up, the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform will present you with a data entry screen for recording your patient's vital statistics. Enter your patient's height, weight, age, and gender. Enter a patient ID if desired. Units for your patient's height may be in inches or centimeters. For the patient's weight, you may choose pounds or kilograms. Once you've finished entering your patient's data, touch the Home icon to return to the monitoring screen. The HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform's display screen is divided into 5 areas: the main window, parameter globe area, information bar, status bar, and navigation bar. The navigation bar displays a series of icons that allow navigation throughout the various screens of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform. Let's look at each one in detail. The first icon is the Start-Stop icon. Touch this icon to begin or end continuous cardiac output monitoring. Touch the Monitor Screen Selection icon to choose between the various data display screens available for the main window area. To return to the most recent monitoring screen displayed, touch the Cancel icon. The display screen options are Graphical Trend, Tabular Trend, Physio Relationship, Physiology, Cockpit, and Split Screen. Up to 4 monitored parameters can be displayed on these screens at one time. Touch the circled number 1, 2, 3, or 4 that represents the number of key parameters to be displayed on the monitoring screen. Choose the desired display screen. Selecting the Clinical Actions icon gives you access to important patient information and system functions. These include intermittent cardiac output, oximetry calibration, patient CCO cable test, derived value calculator, and event review. The settings screen presents your menu options. These options allow you to edit your patient's data, adjust monitor settings, enter demo mode, perform advanced setup, export data, and make engineering adjustments. The snapshot icon captures an image of the current screen and saves it to a USB drive connected to the USB port on the rear and right panels. For detailed information on a variety of topics, simply press the Help button. It takes you to a screen that directs you to additional information on specific topics. Anytime you wish to return to the monitoring screen, just touch the blue Home icon. Touching the Silence Audible Alarm icon will silence any alarms currently activated on the unit for a period of 2 minutes. Touching this icon for 3 seconds allows you to suspend monitoring. The parameter globe area displays a set of user-configurable globes found on the right side of most monitoring screens. To assign a parameter to one of the globes, touch the gray box surrounding the inner circle, and then select the desired parameter from the list. To change the target alarm ranges, touch inside the circle and adjust the settings as desired. Part 3. Oximetry Setup. To utilize the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor's SVO2 monitoring function, you must use a Swan-Ganz catheter that has SVO2 capability. Your first step is to check the catheter packaging to confirm you're using the intended Swan-Ganz catheter. To monitor SVO2 with the Swan-Ganz pulmonary artery catheter, plug the HemoSphere oximetry cable into one of the ports at the bottom of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor. To perform in vitro calibration, only open the perforation tab on the catheter packaging. This will expose the optical module connector of the catheter and will leave the distal part of the catheter sterile. Connect the optical module connector on the catheter to the Edwards Oximetry Smart Cable by lifting the lip on the HemoSphere oximetry cable and inserting the optical module connector. Make sure you can see the word TOP on the tab. Close the lid of the HemoSphere oximetry cable over the optical module connector until it snaps into place. In vitro calibration is performed on the catheter prior to its insertion in the patient's body. To begin the in vitro calibration, touch the Clinical Actions icon. Select Oximetry Calibration and confirm the oximetry type selected is SVO2. Touch In Vitro Calibration and enter your patient's hemoglobin value. The hematocrit value will be automatically calculated for you. Touch Calibrate and wait 20 seconds for the calibration to complete. When the calibration is complete, you will see the message, In Vitro Calibration OK, Insert Catheter. Press Start. The Start button will appear. However, do not press Start until the catheter has been inserted into your patient. To begin recording oximetry values, insert the catheter into your patient and touch Start. Oximetry recording will begin. After 25 seconds, the SVO2 reading will be displayed and will update every 2 seconds. Once completed, the in vitro calibration cannot be repeated and the in vitro calibration button will be disabled. Press the Home icon. If the SVO2 parameter is not displayed on the screen, touch the gray square surrounding one of the parameter globes and select SVO2 from the parameter list. Notice the signal quality index on the SVO2 parameter globe. This graphic represents the quality of the signal coming from the tip of the catheter. If the icon displays 1 or 2 green squares, then there is a strong signal coming from the catheter. A yellow or red icon indicates a problem with the catheter signal, and you should take action to determine the cause of the poor signal. A few reasons why the signal quality may be compromised can be due to the catheter tip being wedged, the catheter being kinked, or intermittent vessel wall contact. Suggested action items for signal quality indicator troubleshooting can be found in the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor Operator's Manual. If the SVO2 reading falls outside of the bounds set for that parameter, a yellow warning light on the readout will appear, and the amber warning light at the top of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor will illuminate. While the in vitro calibration is performed only once at the start of each monitoring session, the in vivo calibration should be performed at least once every 24 hours. During in vivo calibration, the SVO2 signal quality index should be green, confirming a stable signal. To start the in vivo calibration, touch the Clinical Actions button and then touch the Oximetry calibration icon. At the top of the Oximetry calibration screen, select SCVO2 or SVO2 for the oximetry type. Touch the In Vivo Calibration button. It may take up to 25 seconds to complete the calibration. If the calibration is successful, you will be prompted to draw a waste blood sample followed by a lab sample. Touch Draw, and then draw the blood sample. Send the blood samples to the lab for measured analysis by co-oximeter. Once you have the lab results, enter your patient's hemoglobin or hematocrit values. When you enter one of the parameters, the other will be calculated for you. Also enter your patient's SVO2 values. Touch the Calibrate button to perform in vivo calibration. After 25 seconds, the calibration will be complete, and the new SVO2 value will update every 2 seconds. Touch the Home icon to return to the main monitoring screen. Part 4. Continuous Cardiac Output Monitoring Setup. Monitoring continuous cardiac output with the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor requires a Swan-Ganz pulmonary artery catheter that has CCO capability. In addition, you will need the patient CCO cable and the HemoSphere Swan-Ganz module. Before connecting the catheter to the patient CCO cable, connect the patient CCO cable to the HemoSphere Swan-Ganz module of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor. Do this by first inserting the gray connector of the CCO cable into the gray port on the HemoSphere Swan-Ganz module. Second, insert the thermistor connector into the middle port. And finally, insert the thermal filament connection into the blue port. Perform a CCO cable test by touching the Clinical Actions icon in the menu bar and then touching the Patient CCO Cable Test button. After ensuring all cables are connected properly, touch the Start button to begin the cable test. A progress bar will appear. If the cable passes the test, it is ready for use. If it fails the test, you should reattempt the cable test, ensuring that all connections are secure, and if necessary, replace the CCO cable and perform the test again. Touch the Home icon when the cable has passed the test to return to the CCO screen. Disconnect the thermistor and thermal filament connectors from the HemoSphere Swan-Ganz module. Locate the 2 red-capped ports on the Swan-Ganz catheter. Remove the caps and connect the ports to the thermistor and thermal filament connectors on the CCO cable by matching the blue port with the blue connector and the white port with the white connector. Note that when you connect the white thermistor connector to the thermistor port, the arrow on the port should be aligned with the notch on the connector prior to insertion. Once properly seated, twist the locking ring on the thermistor connector to secure the connection. To begin CCO monitoring, touch the Start-Stop icon in the menu bar. After approximately 3 to 6 minutes, once sufficient data has been obtained, a cardiac output value will appear in the parameter globe. The CO value displayed on the screen updates approximately every 60 seconds to 3 minutes. The countdown timer in the Start-Stop icon of the menu bar will display the time remaining until the next CO measurement is performed. If you would like a CO readout that has a faster estimate, you may choose to display the Stat CO on one of the parameter globes. This parameter is a fast estimate of the CO value and is updated every 60 seconds. Part 5. Intermittent Cardiac Output Monitoring Setup. Monitoring intermittent cardiac output with the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform requires a Swan-Ganz catheter that has ICO capability. In addition, you will need the patient CCO cable with a temperature probe, inline or bath, and the HemoSphere Swan-Ganz module. Attach the catheter end of the patient CCO cable to the thermistor connector on the Swan-Ganz ICO catheter. Connect the injectate temperature probe, inline or bath, to the silver connector of the patient CCO cable. If using an inline probe, connect the inline thermistor to a compatible pressure tubing manifold. If using a bath probe, place the probe directly into the bolus solution. To check the integrity of the CCO cable, you may perform a CCO cable check by following the procedure described in Part 4, Continuous Cardiac Output Monitoring Setup. Verify that the ICO catheter is properly inserted into your patient. To configure the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor for ICO monitoring, touch the Clinical Actions icon in the menu bar. Then select ICO. Specify the desired injectate volume from the list of values provided. Once a value is selected, the computation constant is automatically set. Select a catheter size from the available list. Choosing a value here also sets the computation constant. Select the bolus mode. In auto mode, the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor will direct you when to inject the bolus. In manual mode, you can specify when the bolus injections occur. Touch the Start Set button. If continuous CO measurements are active, a pop-up will appear to confirm the suspension of CO monitoring. Touch the Yes button. The ICO screen will appear. If you have selected Auto for the bolus mode, you must wait for the green Inject icon to appear. Once it appears, you may inject your first bolus. If you have selected Manual for the bolus mode, then you must touch the Inject icon when you are ready to inject the bolus. Once a bolus is injected, Computing will highlight on the screen, and the resultant ICO measurement will be displayed. Repeat this procedure up to 6 times as desired to obtain a sufficient number of readings to produce a good average value. The HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform will automatically disregard readings for boluses deemed inadequate. After the desired number of bolus injections have been performed, review the set of washout curves by touching the Review button. Remove any reading from the final calculation by touching it on the review screen. A red X will appear over the reading, and it will not be considered in the final calculation. Touch Accept to compute the average ICO value. If you have slaved in your MAP and CVP values, your ISVR, ICO, ICI, and ISVRI measurements will also appear on the resulting screen. For a detailed explanation of slaving, please watch Part 6, Pressure and ECG Data Slaving Setup. Part 6, Pressure and ECG Data Slaving Setup. MAP, CVP, and ECG can be slaved from any external patient monitor which meets the signal input specifications. These parameters can be used during continuous cardiac output monitoring to derive SV, SVR, RVEF, and EDV. In addition to the mentioned slaved values, a Swan-Ganz CCO Combo V catheter is necessary to display the volumetric parameters of RVEF and EDV-VV. Compatible cables for all of these connections are available from your Edwards representative. To make the proper slave connections to the bedside monitor, Connect the ECG cable from the bedside monitor's ECG signal output to the ECG port on the rear panel of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform. Next, locate the analog inputs on the back of the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform. The two ports are interchangeable. For this example, we will connect the MAP cable from the bedside monitor to analog input port 1 and the CVP cable to port 2. To configure the HemoSphere Advanced Monitoring Platform for slave operation, touch the Settings icon in the menu bar, then select Monitor Settings and Analog Input. To set up analog port 1, select MAP from the parameter list. The default setting values for MAP will be displayed. If the default values are not correct for the bedside monitor being used, the user can modify the voltage range, full scale range, or perform the calibration option described in the HemoSphere Advanced Monitor Operator's Manual. Touch the Full Scale Range Value button to change the displayed full-scale signal value. The allowable input values for full-scale range for MAP and CVP are 0 to 510 mm Mercury and 0 to 110 mm Mercury, respectively. A voltage reading of 0 is automatically set to a minimum pressure reading of 0 mm Mercury. The full-scale range represents the full-scale signal or maximum pressure reading for the selected voltage range. Touch the Voltage Range List button to change the displayed voltage range. The selectable voltage ranges available for all of the parameters are 0 to 1 volts, 0 to 5 volts, 0 to 10 volts, or custom. If an analog signal is not detected on the selected port, Not Connected will be displayed below the Port List button. When an analog input connection or disconnection is first detected, a brief notification message will be displayed on the status bar. Select Analog Port 2. Choose CVP from the parameter list. The default values for CVP will be displayed. The same parameter may not be configured on more than one analog input at the same time. If the default values are correct for the bedside monitor being used, touch the Home button to return to the main screen. The slaved parameters will now be displayed as desired. When switching to a different bedside monitor, always check that the default values listed are still valid. If necessary, reconfigure the voltage range and corresponding parameter range, or calibrate.